Hello, Waswere here, back with another video, and today we're looking at Guildmaster's Tony's Mattock. I was given the great opportunity to be lent a Guildmaster's Tony's Mattock, the archaeology hero item, and thought why not make a video comparing it at the 118 and 115 spots. These are the most often camped long-term locations for staff pieces and or spear tips, so I thought it would be applicable to compare it to the Mattock of Time and Space, which is the other level 99 Mattock. The concept was pretty simple: create two tests with identical scenarios, with having the only discernible difference between the two tests being the Mattock I was using. The difference between the Mattocks are baked into their stats, with Guildmaster Tony's Mattock having 85 precision and 9 focus, while the Mattock of Time and Space has 80 precision and 7 focus. Jagex has told us that the precision is related to how quickly we gather artifacts, and it's a scalar number, so going from 20 precision to 40 precision doubles your artifact gain speed. However, they haven't said much about focus, except for that it affects the success rate of gathering the materials. So the goal of this video is to see just how much that 2 increase in focus is. On top of that, the Tony's Mattock has 2 special effects. First, it has a chance to double materials upon excavating. This also gives you double experience. Then it also has a chance to gather an artifact early, so you can be about like 10% through your bar and it'll be like, oh, we found an artifact, and then you restart your artifact gaining. Again, this is a relatively rare effect, but you will see it if you own a Tony's Mattock. The basic premise was to do 1,000 porter charges for each and calculate the amount of time it took, and knowing that I get 1,500 attempts per hour or 25 per minute, I would be able to calculate the success rate on gathering a material. I did have to eliminate a bunch of factors that would hinder data collection. This is like extra materials from the Fortune perk, extra materials from the Auto Sifter, extra materials from the Water Fiend perk, so that after 1,000 porta charge were used, there would be 1,000 successes and no extra materials were gathered except for from the Tony's Mattock special effect. In order to make sure that the soil didn't get in the way, I turned on the Flow State Relic, which gives you no soil but 20% extra precision. I did a total of 4 tests. First off, I did the Tony's Mattock at the War Table Debris for 1,000 porter charges, then the Mattock of Time and Space at the War Table Debris for 1,000 porter charges, then the Tony's Mattock at Bando Sanctum Debris for 1,000 porter charges, and finally the Mattock of Time and Space at Bando Sanctum Debris for 1,000 porter charges. Then, once that was done, I went ahead and redid the tests all over again to give a slightly larger sample size for better accuracy. I chose these 2 locations as that they are the locations that are most often camped for the Spear Tip and the Inquisitor's staff pieces. The drop rate is based on the success rate of gaining a material, so calculating the success rate at these 2 locations felt most appropriate. But without further ado, let's get into the data, starting with the Bando Sanctum Debris, the 115 spot. At the Bando Sanctum Debris, it took 156 minutes and 18 seconds to complete this test, which led to a 51.1% success rate. On top of that, on average, we got 11.2% of the double material procs with the Tony's Mattock. Now that we have both this success rate and the double material chance, we can add in all the material boosters back in, which are the 5% to double materials with the Water Fiend and 1.5% chance to double materials with the Fortune 3 perk. This leads to a total of 2.2 mil GP per hour from materials. There's also GP from the Spear Tip, as every success is a 1 in 50,000 roll to get it, and its current profit is 126.7 mil. This leads to 1.98 mil GP per hour from the Spear Tip, which is a total of 4.19 mil GP per hour profit in total. In terms of XP, the success rate means more XP per hour from excavation, slightly more complete tomes per hour, and the higher precision means more artifacts per hour. The total combined XP per hour with the Tony's Mattock is 574k XP, with 389k of that coming from restorations, and 185k of that coming from the actual process of excavating. Now, this is with no XP boost apart from the Archaeologist outfit, so if you're using Archaeologist T, high-spec monocles, material mantles, or any other XP boost like Torsil Incense Sticks, you're going to end up with more XP per hour, but I just put this in here as a comparison point rather than the XP per hour you're going to get. Now let's pull in the same data but with a Time and Space Mattock equipped instead. It took 165 minutes and 40 seconds to complete this, which was 9 minutes slower than with the better Mattock, as the number of chances was higher but the successes was the same. This lowered the average success rate to 48.3%. This also reduced the material GP per hour and the rare GP per hour, bringing the total down to 3.75 mil. The total XP is 40k XP per hour lower, which is a decrease in 7% of the XP per hour, and that is largely due to the fact that you gain artifacts at a slower rate due to the lower precision. As a whole, the impact of using the Tony's Mattock is not that great at this location, as the success rate only varied a couple percent. Now that we have the framework, let's pull it up at the 118 spot, War Table Debris. At this location, you can camp it to get Inquisitor's staff pieces. They are 1 in 150,000 each, but there are 3 of them, so the 1 in 50k drop rate still holds. There's a temporary global event that increases the drop rate, but we fully ignored it for this test, as it was meant to compare the two. It was a very similar amount of time to complete the 2000 porter charges at 158 minutes and 7 seconds. This led to a success rate of 50.6% and a total profit of 4.12 mil per hour. I should mention that this is the total profit amount, as I'm taking into consideration the cost of a porta charge and water fiend, pouches, scrolls, but the GP number assumes that you aren't spending that materials on artifacts. Profit is similar to the Bando's Sanctum degree. While the materials are cheaper here, the rare item is slightly more expensive, which means more GP from that. Rounding out the XP numbers, it does much better than the 115 spot, as expected, because it's a higher dig site with 635k XP per hour. And for our last test, let's look at the 118 spot with the time and space Mattock. It's going to be very similar to the data we found in the other test. It takes about 7 minutes longer to complete the 2000 porters, which lowers the success rate and therefore the GP per hour down, while the lower precision means less artifacts and less XP per hour. Though the power of the 118 spot is shown as the XP per hour with a time and space Mattock is still higher here than the 115 spot with the Guildmaster's Tony's Mattock. Speaking of which, let's compare the 4 tests together right now for XP and GP. GP seems to be comparable between the two places, with some minor differences between consistent GP from materials and inconsistent GP from the rares. XP per hour will be higher at the higher location and about 7% higher if you have a Tony's Mattock equipped. So what are some conclusions that we can draw from this? The success rate from the increased focus from 7 to 9 on the Tony's Mattock represents about a 1 to 2% gain in success rate with the setup I had, which is a lot smaller than I expected it to be. The extra GP comes almost exclusively from the doubles materials proc, which seems to have a 10% activation chance. Extra artifacts and the slightly higher success rate from higher stats means that the XP rates are about 7% higher with the Tony's Mattock. So let's answer the question we set out for today. Is the Tony's Mattock worth it? Well, to me, it sounds like something you buy when you want to go for 120 or 200 mil archaeology if you have the spare cash lying around, and then you sell it when you're done to the next person that needs it. The extra XP is nice and the bonus materials help save money while training, but it's not so overly powerful that it's something you need to have. For long-term AFK, there's a benefit as it ends up being more GP per hour, but you're only getting 400k extra GP per hour, so it would take approximately 10,000 hours for it to pay for itself over the other Mattocks. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like the content I'm creating, consider subscribing, and if you like the video, please drop a like on the video. It really helps me out, just pushes it out to more people. But past that, have a good day, and I'll catch you on the next one.